Welcome back to the Rosy Pear, and today we are continuing with some r/writing prompts. Don't forget, guys, you have to like, comment, and subscribe at the end of the video, or else I won't know you guys like what I'm doing. And if you do, then I might be able to do something special in the next video to show you guys how much I appreciate you watching. You fall in love with a girl, and the two of you have a happy relationship for a few years. But one day you discover a massive hoard of valuables underneath the house. And that's when you realize you've been dating a dragon in human form. So, you found my hoard. Alice stared down at me, letting her form slip. She stood in front of me, red scales everywhere, great horns on her head, and sharp yellow teeth. This wasn't going to be good. Luckily, I pressed record just in time. Look, babe, we can talk about this. A snort of smoke cut me off. You have seen my hoard. You know my secret. You must die. I readied some fire magic, showing her that I myself wasn't just an ordinary human. Scoffing, Alice looked at me, getting her flames ready. Fire cannot kill a dragon. I let loose first with my flame breath, letting the inferno drown her slowly and vaporize her flesh and blood. I kept incinerating her, letting the flames grow hotter until I was out of breath. The flames vanished, but her remains were still there. I stopped recording, submitting the video to the police after I called them. It was ultimately ruled as self-defense. I went free, and one of my best friends, Alicia, went with me to comfort me. For quite a while, I was a bit of a wreck, but she helped me get through it all. After a bit, I went down into the basement, soon showing her my hoard. Jake, I thought you said you weren't a dragon, she inquired. I'm not, I said. I just have the powers and tendencies. Eventually, we moved on from my golden hoard of treasures to her much more massive hoard. Soon, I saw Alicia transform, though she did it out of surprise. Sure, there were scales, horns, wings, tail, and everything, but she at least kept her teeth white. Her crimson and amber scales had patterns on them, instead of being just red. I never knew drakes hoarded as well. Anyways, it's your hoard now. Of course, if you want to see mine, you can always come over. Unless you're fine with me bringing it over here. She smiled, making it pretty clear that she was flirting with me. Well, at least she liked me for me. I nodded. You're a good friend, Alicia. But I wouldn't mind if we became more than that. Soon we shared a hug in front of mounds of treasure. This would be an exciting new start. After a few weeks, we compared hoards. Mine was smaller, but that didn't really matter. If he had been any other man, Bill would have been utterly speechless and stunned upon seeing the literal treasure trove of priceless artifacts in his girlfriend's basement. And while he was indeed speechless, it was only because he was choking back tears of gratitude, smiling like he hadn't smiled since Diane died. Bill had only gotten into online dating at the insistence of his children and grandchildren. He initially didn't think he'd find anyone to compare with his Diane, until he found Mei Yin's profile. The Shanghai native whose passions included cooking and classical Chinese literature. He had never been a huge fan of Chinese food before meeting Mei Yin, and the sheer complexity of classical Chinese writing in general had the Latin professor nervous on the first date. Fortunately, Mei Yin had similar reservations about Italian food and the Western classics that he had listed on his profile, and despite the cultural differences, they were able to hit it off quite well. So well that Bill's only hesitation in proposing after 2 years of dating her was her oddities. oddities that were now explained by the dragon horde that stood before him. Of course, Mayan never spoke about her family, or why she would often say that she never liked communism, despite her profile putting her supposed youth right in the middle of China's Cultural Revolution. And it definitely explained why she'd never been married. After all, why would a dragon want to put on a human disguise in the first place? Of course, Bill already knew the answer to that question. Dragons were many things. Hoarders, powerful, frightening. But the one thing they were not was emotionless. A dragon was just as capable of love and empathy and kindness as the best of humanity. And how did he know? Because when he and Diane first started dating, he visited her house and saw treasure in her basement. An uncomfortable silence filled the room. I looked at the gold in the basement, piled right in the center with a molten spot, and somewhat organized gems and other valuables on the shelves. It was a den of a small dragon. That explained everything. Why my wife never ate eggs, loved laying in sunlight, and was rather cold to touch. Why she never told me where she worked before, and why she said she was 60, and why she ate feeder insects with ease, and why my bearded dragon was infatuated with her. It also raised some questions. I got upstairs and fed my pet 2 mealworms. Female harpies lay eggs every month or so. I had a classmate that enjoyed these eggs regularly. Not just do that too, but 4 times per year. Do dragons lay slugs? Sweetheart, I'm home. Can you help me with bags? I'm running. I picked up a bag with groceries and frozen mice for our pythons. Then she made us tea. I sat across the table and asked directly, "Why didn't you tell me that you're a dragon? I don't know what conditions you need, and I can't check if your diet is healthy enough. What about temperature, basking spots, humidity, and shedding, slugs?" "Oh? How? Did you find my sheds? And don't worry, I'm fine with normal human conditions." She was a bit confused. I stood up and gently stroked her cheeks. "Honey, fine doesn't mean good. Our noodles were fine in a tank, but they feel better in a bin. I don't want you to live in a tank. I found your nest. I haven't touched anything. Don't worry." She rubbed her head on my arm. "You totally got me. I'm really okay. Dragons don't lay slugs. Moreover, all those hot nights paid off. The only thing I would like to add there now will be an ultraviolet lamp. Oh, my love, let's go buy it this weekend." People say you can never have too many reptiles. You will always want more. Well, 7 months later, I will have to test this statement in terms of dragons. I love short stories for this one simple reason. They're short, sweet, and to the point. The first one, I'm going to be honest, seemed a little bit like rambling, but once I got done reading it, I kind of understood what the author was going for. At first, it seemed like they were just firing off whatever they could think of. The first thing that came into their mind, go, 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 right now, right here. And once it was done, they're like, okay, that's it. But once you get the story done and you actually read through it again, you see what the writer was going for, what kind of story they were writing, and you start understanding what they were thinking. I know, it doesn't make any sense. And the second one is so sweet. The thought of an elderly man going back into the dating world and finding someone who reminds him so much of his wife, just enough that he believes that he could be happy again. It's so sweet. I love short stories. They're always so much fun. The last story kind of confused me for a second because I was wondering what a dragon or any sort of reptile has to do with slugs. So I looked it up and I found this guy on TikTok who breeds and sells baby snakes. And apparently, a slug is an egg that does not have an embryo, so it cannot hatch into a baby, which was interesting. So you learn something new every day. But it's kind of cute that they're expecting some baby dragons coming soon. That's adorable. And if they had a book series, I would totally read it. What to expect when you're expecting a dragon? Find that next on the channel. Who knows? Really quick, guys, before I show you my annoying outro, I have created a subreddit called r/fictional Reddit where you can put your stories down, where you can write your own story or expand on a writing prompt that you've read or heard. You can put any fictional thoughts like ADHD thoughts or anything like that up. You can put down a scenario that you're stuck with in a story and people can help you expand on it. You can see if people can help you with editing in a story to make sure that a sentence makes sense, or if there's any spelling errors or continuity errors. You can write wholesome stories, scary stories, funny stories, any sort of story you want, and you can put those kind of flares on your post. And if you post onto r/fictional Reddit, I may send you a message asking if I can read it. But that's going to be it from me today, guys. If you absolutely love the video, don't forget to like down below. Don't forget to leave a comment telling me what I could do better, what your idea for the story is, or what you would want to do. And don't forget to subscribe and share the video around because we're trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of the year. We don't have that much time left. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye!